Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Friday follow-up and our continuing journey of accountability. Well, today I'll get right to the root of the problem that we're going to talk about. And also, I do have my tie on today, and I'm wearing red and black, and we'll get to that in a moment. But again, back to the root of the discussion today. Recently, Anne asked me to dig out a couple of bushes that she had planted many years ago near the house. And at the time, it made sense. They were nice little small bushes, but they grew over time. So she just cut them down, but they came back up. So they needed to be dug out, excuse me. And it was quite a chore. As you can see in the picture there, it was quite a mess of different roots all intertwined. And I had to actually dig down and cut roots, and because they just wouldn't come right out. And it took the better part of Sunday to get these two massive root balls out of the ground, the old-fashioned way, pick, shovel, and cutting tools. So as I got done and I started looking at these two huge root balls and carting them off, I got to thinking, isn't that what can happen to us on our journey to a healthy lifestyle? What habits, roots that we put in place seem like a great idea, but if we don't watch how they're being managed, they could quickly get out of hand and turn into this massive mess, and they're really deep, and they're going to be hard to change. They'll be hard to get out of the way so that we can replace them with better habits. And, sometimes things go a little awry, and the roots that we place seem great, but I think sometimes I will have another root pop up where I thought I had it under control, and then I just slide right back into a bad habit. And I think that's what happened to me recently, and we'll get to that in a moment. But when we want to change habits, I think this is a good illustration on why sometimes it's really hard to do, because it's so entrenched, so rooted deeply into our weekly schedule or monthly schedule, or what we're trying to accomplish. And I know there's been various stories over time or articles written that you have to, in order to get rid of a bad habit, just might take 14 days to continually do something different so that it finally becomes a new habit. I think sometimes it can be quicker. Sometimes I think it'll take a little bit longer, or sometimes because you may have thought that you dug deep and got rid of the root of the problem, it's still there and eventually might spring up when you're not aware of it. So, it's funny how when you're digging roots on a hot Sunday afternoon and your mind kind of wanders to how this relates to tops, or how we tend to want to find things to help us on our journey to a healthy lifestyle. And I think that's what I always try to do. We all know what has to be done to help us lose weight and get healthy and kind of change all our health parameters to the better. But we forget. So it's nice to come up with different ways to look at things, and really kind of cements into the fact that whatever we do has an impact on our health. Whether we dwell on problems too long, or we have a hard time letting things go. If you have a gain and you tend to kind of like just go woe is me, or kind of again dwell on the issue, it's going to have impact as you go forward. And sometimes you might not be aware of it, and a few weeks later it'll just pop up like that root that's still been in the ground, and you didn't realize. It kind of catches you off guard. which comes into the support system that we need and really dwell on to keep us going. And I think that's where it gets a little complicated, because a support system is like a root system, where you want to make sure that's there to help you. So, roots are good if they're properly managed, maintained, supported, but then they can be bad if they get all twisted up. And that's where sometimes, if you're not getting the support you need, maybe things got twisted up. Maybe you need to find another scenario, if you will, to get that support. I've mentioned many times in the past where I needed more than just that 1 hour meeting a week for support. I needed to tell my family that I was struggling with my weight. They should have known, but I had to tell them. People can't help you unless you raise your hand and ask for help. And I told my coworkers that I was struggling with weight and I was trying to lose weight and get healthy. And they knew that, because they saw me when I was over 320 pounds. But it made it easier if they knew I was really trying to do something, so that when gatherings at work or family gatherings, people knew why I was staying away from certain items, so I wouldn't get bad roots started again, and wouldn't just keep on after me saying, well, this piece of cake, this piece of pie, not going to hurt you. Well, you're right, that one piece wouldn't hurt me, but sometimes that one piece leads to the second and third, and then that's the problem. So again, I tried to build a good root system of support by letting family, friends, coworkers know what I was doing, and not just rely on that one meeting a week, which is extremely important, really, really needs to be highlighted in any of our talks, because we saw how rough it was when people couldn't meet during the pandemic, and I know we're struggling all to get back. So again, looking for ways to build that healthy root system of support, to have online meetings, chats like this. Again, it bears repeating. We have learned so much about our organization in the past week. Yeah, well, it's been a long week for the past years. And it just goes to show you that if we're going to make positive changes going forward to expand a good root system of support, we're going to have to cut out some of the tangled roots that have been entrenched for many years. And it's just going to take time. But, again, funny of how you think of things when you're digging up root balls. But I just thought I wanted to share that with you. And I'm so glad I don't have to do another one this weekend. So on our journey of accountability, I said I'm wearing red and black today, one to continue with my ties from last week's discussion, and the fact that, I can dress up and I want to dress up because I do feel so much better. But unfortunately, this week I had another gain. I gained 1.6 pounds this week. And that means over the past 2 weeks, I've gained 3 pounds. On the bright side, it's only my 5th red mark for the year. I desperately want to have a black mark next week, and I'm going to keep on working at it. What happened over these past 2 weeks? It's almost like nature knew what was going on. I can honestly say I had some bad roots pop up. We're getting close to IRD. There's a lot of things going on with TOPS as an organization, and I just got overwhelmed. And I slowly reverted back to some bad habits. I probably didn't move as much as I thought I was or should have done. I looked at my journal, and sometimes I'll write everything down that I eat, but now I'm starting to write down the times that I'm eating them. And I noticed I started grazing a little bit more later on into the evening than I was when I was really having great success going through. So it's a minor setback. I think, I hope, I tried to cut out those bad routes, set up some new routes going forward. The challenge to get to 7 pounds away from goal for IRD is probably out of reach right now, but I'm still doing good. I've still lost well over 30 pounds for the year. I can get into this new red shirt. It fits great. So it's a win, a setback, but a win. But I think it drives home the point, folks, that we're always going to have a struggle. It's not always going to be peaches and cream going forward. We're going to have these setbacks. But I think the key is not to dwell on the setbacks and let a horrific root ball take hold so that you're going to have a harder time getting out. So next Friday is IRD, just checking the calendar to make sure I'm not giving misinformation. Next Friday is IRD. I'll have a special talk for Friday morning as we get ready for the session Friday night. To those of you who have not registered, I'm sorry, the registration has closed, but we'll make provisions of the events be available for purchase later on this summer for viewing. So that's it in a kind of a nutshell. Went a little bit longer this morning, but just wanted you to know where I was rooted, and I hope you have a good week. See you next Friday.